I'm Ezrah Raya, and this is the Manila Times. The National Nutrition Council led the launching of the new Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition, or PPAN. The 5-year action plan is aimed at solving stunting and malnutrition among children in the country. This is the 11th national plan to eradicate undernutrition since 1974. Latest data show that 21.4% Filipino children under 5 years old have high levels of stunting. Stunting is defined as the irreversible impaired growth and development caused by poor nutrition. Some experts would claim that child stunting or malnutrition is linked to the country's learning poverty, which is currently at 90%. Department of Health Secretary Ted Herbosa said that PPAN would serve as the blueprint to guide government as well as non-governmental organizations, academia, and the private sector in a coordinated effort to reduce all forms of malnutrition. Here with us is National Nutrition Council Executive Director, Assistant Secretary Azucena Dayanghirang. Welcome to the Manila Times, ma'am. ASEC, PPAN is not something new. The 5-year action plan for nutrition is being done and renewed with every new administration since 1974. So tell us, ma'am, how can the new PPAN solve child stunting and malnutrition among kids when the previous PPAN implemented from 2017 to 2022 did not solve malnutrition? So what's the new approach or edge of the new PPAN, ma'am?
Okay, so thank you very much for that question. Actually, allow me first to clarify, that it is not the NNC alone that will combat malnutrition, but it will be a full government approach. It will be multi-sectoral and multi-level from the national government agency down to the sub-national level, and most especially up to the local government units that will really address the multiple causes of malnutrition with NNC as the coordinating agency. Now, so the Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition actually provides the guide. This is our framework. This is our blueprint to guide on how we will implement everything that is inserted or incorporated in the PPAN. So actually, it has a mix of interventions that really provide services that are directly address the basic cause of malnutrition and other causes, intervening causes, underlying causes of malnutrition. And these are what we call nutrition-specific services, like the feeding programs that we have, the health services specific to pregnant and lactating women, and most especially children. So during the prenatal checkups of mothers, and also the postnatal health services. And for newborns, we have the immunization and the provision of iron, folic acid, as well as vitamin A supplementation. Now, how is this different from the predecessor PPAN? Actually, this PPAN for 2023 to 2028 not only addresses the multiple causes of malnutrition, but it also addresses food security, allowing individuals and families access to affordable and safe and adequate nutritious food, not only through the market, but also by helping them set up their own food gardens. There are also interventions that ensure food is always on the table, either through direct giving of food like family food packs during emergencies, and through the 4Ps or cash transfers. Then there are also other interventions that provide livelihood to our farmers and fisher folks. Like, for example, we have also feeding programs and the recently launched food stamp program by the DSWD. Actually, the food stamp program is a conversion program. This is an example of a multi-sectoral approach. Like, for example, DSWD is taking charge of the food that are distributed to the 34 PPAN focus provinces areas, And then what NNC will take care of the provision of specialized food for pregnant women, as well as the complementary food for children 2 years and below. So the ingredients for the hot meals served in the feeding programs are fresh farm produce, which we will be buying directly from the farmers themselves, and while for the food, also for the food stamp program. So DSWD also partnered with DA for the food items that can be bought through the electronic benefit transfer, the EBT card. So they gave the beneficiaries of the program, and which are actually the first line is on the bottom 1 million households based on the listanan, as well as the PPAN from provinces. So let me add further that the key implementers are the local government units, because these are where the malnourished children are located, and these are where the nutritionally at-risk pregnant women are located. Which of the local government units really have the mandate to deliver nutrition-related services in communities. They are also encouraged to develop their what we call the local nutrition action plans, aligned with the new PPAN, and provide the corresponding budget as well. Because without a plan, they really failure to to make a plan would mean they really don't have enough resources. No? Saan nila kukunin yung budget nila as per their annual investment plans. So I think that is the most the highlight of the PPAN 2023 to 2028. Back to you, Ma.
Mom, how does the NNC plan to combat malnutrition among children in economically challenged communities? So you mentioned food security or the access to affordable, safe, and healthy food. So paano nyo po maaabot yung mga nasa laylayan or those under the poverty line?
Okay, so the NNC in particular is a council. Okay, we have three structures in the National Nutrition Council. The first structure is what we call the governing board. And the governing board is composed of 10 national government agencies, and the chair of which is the secretary of the Department of Health. So, and the vice chair are the secretary of the Department of Agriculture, as well as the Department of Interior and Local Government. And the rest are members like the secretary of DepEd, Secretary BSWD, Secretary NEDA, DOLE, DOST, DTI, and then Department of Budget and Management, and we have the the 2 or 3 private sector representatives. So this means to say that the council meet regularly, and they usually pass resolutions, as per advice by the second structure, which is the executive arm, which is our agency, the National Nutrition Council Secretariat. So we do all the drafting of the proposed bills and then proposed resolutions, which we think is necessary for the implementation with this, especially this PPAN. And the third structure of the NNC is a technical committee. So these are composed of the technical people of the different departments that are under or that are that comprise National Nutrition Council Governing Board. And so this means to say that we meet regularly as the head of agency of the National Nutrition Council Secretariat, which is the executive arm of the NNC Governing Board. It is our mandate really to implement and to plan, in particular, to plan and then implement, monitor, as well as evaluate all other programs of government that are geared towards eliminating hunger and malnutrition, and especially food insecurity. So this time, we want to be assured that this is a multi-sectoral approach led by government, and the private sectors are there to be engaged, as well as other partners like the Scaling Up Nutrition Movement. We have from the academe, the business sector, the civil society alliance, as well as the development partners or UN networks. So they are just here, and then NNC Secretariat will be convening them, calling them for a meeting, and other instrumentalities that we need budget for this one and this one. And we help each other complement our programs, just like we are doing right now with DOH NNC, and then DSWD NNC, FNRI NNC. So all those things.
So ma'am, lastly po, would you agree that poverty is the main reason for stunting among Filipino children? And
Actually, yeah, actually poverty is the core. No, this is the core, the reason behind. Kasi, but as I've said, malnutrition is actually linked with various factors affecting malnutrition. So one of which is, of course, the lack of food. So that is what we call food insecurity. So why are the people not eating enough food or not enough nutritious food? They don't have access because they cannot afford. So with the high cost of food that we have, even vegetables, even fruits are high cost. Our prices for meat products, the rich in proteins, are also increasing. So those people who cannot afford really, especially those under the below the poverty line. So the problem really is poverty. So it actually it cuts cross poverty cuts cross about everything. Like for example, if one family has no basic, like the community that they live in, no, madalas wala silang makakain talaga, and then they don't have wash facilities, water and sanitation and hygiene facilities, no toilet, no potable water system. So also education forms part, no? Kasi as a mother, as a young couple, when you um, start your own family, so you should have enough information and knowledge of what kind of food that you will be giving to your children, especially young children. And also as a pregnant woman, you should know what kind of food that you should be eating. So that's part of education and knowledge. And also on what you call the lack of food in the market. So that's what DA is all about, like food production from the Department of Agriculture. So making it sure that food is readily available and then communities can access to food that are available. And with DTI, price increases, they should be able to, DTI should be able to control or maybe regulate the too much increase in basic food commodities. And the Department of Education also, because as children grow older, they go to school. The school in surveys, maraming estudyante na talagang malnourished din sila because in the earlier years of their lives, talagang malnourished sila. So they keep on growing and then they tend to grow malnourished. So when they reach school age, if nobody is taking care of their meals, luckily enough, we in the Philippines, DepEd is taking care of their feeding program. And so we take their children, taking care, DSWD is taking care, and the local government units taking care of their malnourished children in the daycare centers also, not only in school. In short, the NNC, we have a new program. Actually, we launched this Tutok Kainan dietary supplementation program. We back in March of 2021. This is at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. We saw the need that people should be given enough food because there was lockdown anywhere. No groceries, no markets, were locked down. So the NNC actually developed the kind of methodology wherein this is the kind of program that we need, like Tutok Kainan. This is directly observed supplementation for pregnant women. And this is the reason why that even with the COVID-19 pandemic, there is no so much increase in the number of stunted children because our LGUs were advised to our National Nutrition Cluster. We actually passed two resolutions. One is for having a family food packs per barangay to be distributed to the households, especially with children under 5 years old, and with households with pregnant women. So we wrote in the advisory that all local government units to prepare food packs and integrate fresh fruits and vegetables as well as chicken and meat, and then eggs for protein, and also milk for children. All right, so that's it. And the Tutok Kainan has been going on, and we have the good methodology, and then our target really are for nutritionally at least pregnant women. For these pregnant women to be well nourished, so that when they give birth, the children will have normal weights. Because if children have low birth weights at birth, then definitely they are the ones who are vulnerable to being stunted and wasted. So dito pa lang sa first 1,000 days, from the very first day of pregnancy up to 2 years old of a child, ito yung focus ng NNC, specifically providing dietary supplementation for pregnant women and children under 2 years old.
Very well said, Mom. Like you said, it's a whole of health is a whole of nation. It's everyone's concern, and we need a
Yes.
whole of nation approach to fight against malnutrition. Thank you for your time, National Nutrition Council Executive Director, Assistant Secretary Azucena Dayanghirang. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.